Hi guys, Asim here. This week we are dipping into the Khandaan archive again to our pre-pandemic innocence of 2019. Together with friend of the show and listener favorite Pitu, we reviewed Tum Mere Ho with Aamir Khan, Juhi Chawla and the legend Tahir Khan. This was a very fun episode and I'm sure you will enjoy revisiting it. We will be back with fresh content next episode. In the meantime, do subscribe to our newsletter and our Patreon. I'll leave the link in the show notes. Also, we are getting ready for our big get-together, our Khandaan meetup in London on the 29th of April, but we'd love to get a head count. So drop us a line if you are interested in coming down and meeting the whole crew. Amrita, Sujoy, me will be in town and we might even get some special guests. So let us know by Twitter or by email at youpodcasting@gmail.com if you are interested in joining. It's probably going to be in central London. We'd love to see your faces. But in the meantime, enjoy this show. We'll be back with new content next week. Time for Tum Mere Ho. Hi everybody, you're listening to the Khandaan podcast by the You Podcast team, a bi-weekly podcast revisiting the movies of Aamir Khan, Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan.
Every show we pick a random year from 3 decades of collectively 300 films the Khans have done and let our listeners vote which movie we should talk about. So it's entirely up to you.
Pick a team, make a vote, take us down nostalgia lane, punish us or make us reassess a movie we dismissed.
We love the Khans, most of us, sometimes. And we would love for you all to be part of our Khandaan, because when it comes to the Khans in Bollywood, nothing else really matters.
We're back. Badan pe ghee mal ke. Yeah, so we got to see Baahubali live with Sujoy in the Royal Albert Hall. So people that don't know this, Royal Albert Hall is like this classic concert hall where they do like grand balls and like, you know, like there's like orchestra and all these. It's a very prestigious place in London. So what they're doing is basically they're projecting the movie on a large screen and the orchestra is doing like all the music, like background and sometimes songs. And it takes a year to prepare, and Baahubali is the first Indian movie that they're doing this. So usually they do it with, you know, Star Wars.
Not only the Indian movie. I think it's the first non-Hollywood movie that's being done at the Royal Albert Hall. So they've done like Star Wars and Harry Potter and stuff like that, but Baahubali is the first one which is not in English.
Yeah, and so we were lucky enough to get some tickets, and we also, Prabhas was there, and Rajamouli was there, and Anushka Shetty was there, and
Rana was there,
yeah,
MM Cream was there.
Yeah, so they were, and I was like, how cool must this be for, you know, more than the filmmaker, even the composer, you know, to put his score in such kind of a grand spotlight, you know, with like these professional classical music players and stuff like that. It was a super unique experience, and the house was pretty much packed up. So Sujoy, man, what did you think of kind of the experience?
Yeah, it was a unique experience in the sense that, you know, when you watch a movie, the background score, as the name suggests, is in the background. But in this, the whole experience elevates the whole background score and it comes to the foreground, and it's louder than the actual movie sound as well. So some scenes are absolutely amplified. For example, the whole when Mahendra, the son enters into the kingdom and the whole Jai Maheshmati soundtrack plays. It's really, really loud, and it's really such a great experience to see all the orchestra just perform at the same timestamp and, you know, synchronize with the movie. It's really, really cool.
And I mean, for me, it was a while since I had even seen Baahubali, so it was like I'd forgotten how bonkers this movie is.
Yeah.
But it's also just funny how the most bonkers scenes are the one that get like the whistles, and people just love the craziness of this movie.
Yeah.
So it was.
Did they do it in Telugu or was it in Hindi?
It was in Hindi.
Which was a surprise to everybody.
Yeah. And also, like, did they do just the background score, or were they also doing the songs?
The songs as well. Like the voice of the songs are all from the movie track itself, but the whole instrumental parts of the song are all played live.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. I was, and it really adds something to it that like all of that orchestration and all that. Pitu, are you back?
Yeah, I am back.
Oh yeah, without any crackling.
I was snooping and listening in.
Good. Yeah, we were just talking about Baahubali live. I need to correct myself. Ashanti, our dear friend Ashanti, corrected me that I keep saying Baahubali, and it's not about daughters-in-law.
It is Baahubali.
It is. It's about strong men with strong arms. It's an experience, and I really hope they do more of these. I think and I hope they do it in more other countries. Like, obviously it's hard for people to come to the Royal Albert Hall and visit London, although it's a great time to visit this amazing city that we live in. But it just I feel we sometimes undervalue Desi cinema, and just getting that kind of validation from the Gora audience just kind of shows that hum kisi se kam nahi, that kind of thing. So,
like, even before we watched the movie, we were also, kind of thinking whether the score of Baahubali would translate into an orchestral arrangement for a display like this. And I had second thoughts about how exactly they're going to do it. And it just turns out to be a spectacular product when you go and watch this and experience this with a live orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are we saying that all Bollywood films should get this Royal Albert Hall treatment now?
Especially not Tum Mere Ho.
In fact, Tum Mere Ho, there should even be like a ballet company doing like Nagin dances. Yeah.
There should be a Western production.
Absolutely.
On the Broadway and everywhere else.
Oh my God, Tum Mere Ho is so made for Broadway.
It's so made for Christmas pantomimes.
It is. Nutcracker देखो और फिर तुम मेरे हो देखो. तुम मेरे हो में भी Nutcracker है. She's called Kalpana Iyer.
We haven't started, but I just want to say we're doing Tum Mere Ho because the people wanted this. They wanted to do this to us, and we couldn't get a better person on than Pitu, because Pitu, I told you this on Instagram a little bit, but when you came on the last Khandaan podcast, my mailbox was like, ये लड़की कहाँ से आई है, ये लड़की कहाँ को जाएगी. It was all that, like, who is this girl, where is she from, why is she so funny? So I'm glad you're back on, because I don't think we could have found a better movie for this, but I do think Sujoy owes you like a box of chocolates or something like that for making you go through this.
He owes me a lot more. I mean, both Amrita and Sujoy have really tested the bonds of friendship. I was like watching Tum Mere Ho in my background. I was thinking of that story from, Krishna and Sudama and the things that friends do. I was very much casting myself in a very Sudama kind of light. It was very like... Also, I don't know why you all think I'm funny. I'm actually being incredibly serious all the time. People just mistake my intellectual cerebral abilities for comedy. I mean, that's just very pathetic.
Yeah, but you are starting also something new, right? For the people that have been missing your voice.
So I started a vlog. I just feel like this word vlog is so ajeeb. It just doesn't roll off my tongue. But I was like, I didn't want to have a written blog anymore because I had one eons ago. So I started a vlog, and it's called Kapow with Pitu, because I read comics and I'm a child and I believe in punching people up. So it's basically just a weekly vlog, and by the time this episode of Khandaan is, on the air or whatever, I'll probably be like 2 episodes down.
I watched the first one. I loved it, and I love that whenever you do kapow, you do throw like an air punch, and that air punch is almost as effective as Bobby Deol's in Apne.
Oh my God, Apne is one of my favorite movies.
See, maybe you're inspired by it.
It is such a good movie. In fact, I'm planning to do an episode on my love for Sunny Paji and how in him I found my soulmate.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I've always had this idea to do like a podcast on Amitabh movies, but I think now, just because this is your favorite movie, I might do a Dale podcast series before that.
Sounds amazing. I will tell you many facts about the Deol. Punjab में सिर्फ दो चीजें होती है, ढोल और Deol. I say this to all my Punjabi friends. They hate me.
Let's not digress. Come back to the podcast, people.
So, what are we doing on this podcast? This episode, we're going to be talking about Tum Mere Ho later on. We just did a little chat about our visit to Royal Albert Hall. We're doing some trailers, but we're going to try to do quickly because we had a lot of audio problems that you guys don't know about, but it happened on the background. So we're going to start moving on. So obviously, I have my Aloo Bukhara Sujoy back from India, and I have my Nashpati Amrita.
Thank
Sujoy,
you,
man, good to have you back. How was India?
It was lovely. It was very, very lovely. I ate a lot. I have gained a lot of weight, and I got to meet Amrita. We also ate a lot. And I'm back now in the cold, dreary, wet London.
Yeah. I missed hanging out with Amrita. I was getting jealous. Like, Sujoy se to milta rehta hu, but I was missing Amrita when you posted that picture for sure.
Even I'm jealous now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very left out.
Sujoy or Asim ke saath na, I do like these international dates, like kabhi Bangkok, kabhi Singapore, kabhi India. Like,
yeah, that is how New York se kyun dushmani hai? Yahan bhi aao.
I used to, but then you weren't there back then. Back then, I don't know where you were hiding out. And then
I was in California. I wasn't hiding anywhere.
You were hiding in the redwood forest, and I left, and then you just snuck in.
Oh, okay.
My standard answer is, change your president, I'll come visit, for any American friends. I mean, for you guys...
don't like the orange baby. I call him Cheetolini.
That's a good one. Yeah, but he's a good friend of you Indian people. Now I'm Pakistani, so it's slightly different from me. Okay, let's get into it. I think we also quickly wanted to plug Channel 4's Indian film season. Sorry, Pitu, I didn't send you this information, but we just quickly wanted to plug it because people that didn't grow up in Europe, back in the day, like I'm old, we didn't have ZTV, Sony TV and all that kind of thing. We used to just have, BBC would randomly show, Sholay at 2 o'clock at night, and we would all set our recorders and it wouldn't work and we would get annoyed by it. And then Channel 4 started taking these over and it's kind of become an institution, and they pick some really good movies. So this year they have they're showing Trapped, Veere Di Wedding, Manmarziyan, and also Happy Phir Bhag Jayegi. I don't know why, but it's in there. It's very random, and there's a few other ones too. Amrita, from the list that I sent you, did any jump out for you? Which?
Yeah, so there's a few there's mainstream Bollywood stuff, and then there is art house stuff as well. It's just a very eclectic bunch of movies, but it's worth keeping your eyes open for them.
Beth has sent us a little clip for her thoughts on Kapurush, because obviously we're idiots. We don't watch these old movies. She does. She's the smart one.
You don't say.
We are talking about Tum Mere Ho on this episode. So
exactly.
We had to bring an intellectual in, talk about Kapurush.
Hello, top friends. This is Beth from Beth Loves Bollywood, bringing you a mini review of Satyajit Ray's Kapurush. Apologies for my scratchy voice and mispronouncing Bengali even worse than I mispronounce Hindi. This is a fabulous film, and I encourage everyone to watch it when it airs on TV in Britain or any other way that you can get your hands on it, even on a terrible YouTube upload, which is how I saw it. It's worth seeing. This film's title translates to The Coward, and it is paired with a film called Mahapurush, The Great Man, which is a comedy. This one is more of a contemplative tragedy sort of film. It pairs my favorite couple from Bengali cinema, not Uttam Suchitra, but for me it's Sumitra Chatterjee and Madhabi Mukherjee, and they are lovely together. The story is a college-era romance that is left sort of unfinished and then is poked at again later in life after one of the two is married. There are only 3 characters in this film, so it's got that sense of being almost a stage drama that's done in some sort of very intimate setting. And the whole film is very intimate. It deals very closely with people's emotions and how they express them, and the timing of when you say things and when you don't say things, and the reverberations that can have throughout your life. I highly recommend this film. Do bring your teddy bear or whatever you use for comfort, because it may well rip out your heart and stomp on it just the way being in a relationship with a coward can.
Also, they're doing, there's also they're showing Tanuved's Manu and stuff like that. But also they're showing Satyakam, which is...
Oh, Dharampaji.
Yes, it's Dharampaji at his most delicious best.
He was so hot in it, and he was so righteously indignant all the time.
And he was unbearable. Yeah, he's basically unbearable, but he's also unbearably hot. So it's like very confusing for everybody that watches it, because on the one hand you just want to like jump on him, and then on the other hand, once you jump on him, you want to beat him to death. So it's a very confusing movie.
I completely agree with Amrita's assessment.
But it's a Rishikesh Mukherjee movie, and it has Sharmila Tagore as well in it, and it is widely considered to be one of the best movies from that era and of Rishikesh Mukherjee. I have my reservations, as you've just heard, and Pitu obviously agrees with me. But you should check it out if you have the time.
Yeah,
it's also considered Paji's best acting, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he is good. I'm not saying that he's not good. He is good. It is a good performance. It's just that the character itself is such a
kind of insufferable.
Yes, not even kind of. He is insufferable. You just can't stand it.
Sujoy, will you be setting your recorder for any of these movies? You've seen all of them, most of them, right? I still haven't seen Manmarji. Actually, I might catch that one because I've not. I think it's on Eros or something like that, and I don't have a subscription and I couldn't find like a print. So I
think the only ones that I've not seen are the older ones like Satyakam, Kapurush, and then there's Nacho Mia Kumpasar that I haven't seen, and The Space Between the Notes, I haven't seen that. All the mainstream ones I think I've seen it.
Okay. Well, it's starting the 29th of October, so that's next weekish, I think. So, yeah, for the people, I mean, there's more information we'll add to the show notes, see which movies there are. There's a few good ones. And, otherwise you end up watching them on Zee or Sony, and there's so many ads, and they cut everything off. I don't even bother watching it, So, best to watch it this way without any... Oh, no, Channel 4 does have ads, which is annoying by Channel 4. But anyway.
But like late night shows, they have like only... very few ads compared to like a prime time screening,
Yeah. So people in the UK, check it out. I'm sure Channel 4 doesn't transmit outside of the UK. But yeah, it's starting. We'll add more information in the show notes. Let's talk quickly about some trailers.
एक होता है पुलिस वाला, एक होता है गुंडा. हम कहलाते हैं पुलिस वाला गुंडा.
सर, हमारे प्रमोशन का क्या होगा सर?
आपके दिमाग में भी ऐसा कोई ख्याल मंडरा रहा है?
बिल्कुल नहीं सर, हरगिज़ नहीं सर, सपनों में भी नहीं सर. I love you सर.
I love you too. और साथ लाए हम हमारी सुपर सेक्सी मिसेस को, रज्जो.
Pitu, did you see some trailers? Did you see the Dabangg 3 trailer or not?
I saw a little bit of the Dabangg 3 trailer. I did not understand why Sonakshi Sinha was like matkoing so much. I was really scared she was going to dislocate her hip. But I mean, it was okay. It didn't look very interesting to me. I loved Dabangg, the first one, because Chulbul Pandey is just a cutie. But this one, I was just like, itna interesting nahi laga.
I don't understand anything you're saying. What language is this? Amrita.
Asim just saw the entire trailer with like hot eyes going.
Right.
I swear to God, it was like grinning from one side to the other. I could do the Joker sequel from Joaquin Phoenix next time. It's like grin, one big grin, and there's literally a money shot at the end. Like, for Salman Khan fans, you can if you time it, you can climax at the end of that trailer, right? So it's exactly like, 2 minutes 80. You can make it, guys. You can make it. Let's do it together.
I just want to know if this is going to be like a trend going forward where Salman finds a co-star who isn't age appropriate. Like, I'm not going to say that Sonakshi Sinha is age appropriate for Salman, but is relatively not that young. And then he somehow finds a way to find a co-star who's in her teens. Is this going to be a thing that goes forward? Because he did that with what is that thing? Bharat?
Disha Patni. I know because I know how to pronounce her name. I will.
Oh, Disha was in Bharat? Really? I only knew Katrina.
No, she was there as his first girlfriend.
But at least they CGI'd him to make him younger. Here they just shave off the mustache. That's how far they go.
And then in this one,
what else can you expect from a Prabhudeva movie, though?
Yeah, true.
The one thing you can expect is that it's going to be better than an Arbaz Khan directed movie, though.
Yeah, that's true. So we were talking about Dabangg, right? And I can vividly remember all the scenes that go in the first movie, and I can't remember a thing about the second movie. And
Same.
Watching this trailer, it just felt like it kept going on and on and on, and I don't know. I just feel all tired already.
Yeah. The only thing I remember of Dabangg 2 is that broke Prakash Raj and he said musse ab nahi ho payega. I'm done. I don't think he did any more. Maybe he did a few, but he was done after that. He's I'm going back home. Screw you guys. I'm going back home. So yeah, I don't remember. I remember it had that Tandoori Murgi song with Kareena in it, which was horrible. Yeah, Dabangg 2 was kind of a waste of time. But yeah, I mean, you guys told me not to talk too much about Dabangg because I could, end up talking 50 minutes about it. I'm really looking forward to it. I miss this Salman, and I'm excited for this and Radhe, which they kind of did they did a motion poster thing. I just feel, in this time of uncertainty, at least there's Salman Khan,
Wait, what is Radhe?
Radhe is his Eid release. He's already locked it in for next year. It's Eid pe nahi aaye, next wale pe aa rahe, because there was some doubt with the Inshallah thing that happened, right? With Sanjay Leela. By the way, that news came out that for Bajirao he was pushing, or even for Inshallah he was pushing Katrina Kaif, right? So people don't know, we were having a DM discussion about that, and I gave a pitch of how Bajirao would look with Katrina, and both Amrita and Sujoy stopped talking to me.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I do not blame them.
Because I was add a Himesh Reshammiya song in there, Oh my
God, Himesh Reshammiya.
Yeah, resurrect Salman at the end. He's jumping with horses in Veer. He's back. He's not dead because Salman can't die. And they stopped talking to me. They changed the topic very unsubtly.
We don't have it in us to appreciate Asim's genius anymore.
Yeah, clearly. He's mad genius.
I've worn them down. That's why I need to pakrao new bande like Pitu in this. Second trailer, maybe more towards your likings too, Amrita. Commando 3, that one came out too.
हिंदुस्तान रोएगा, खून के आंसू रोएगा. There will be a civil war. मैं रहूं या ना रहूं.
एक ही आदमी है जो इस मुद्दे को जड़ से उखाड़ सकता है, करण सिंह डोगरा। सर, ये आदमी दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में हो सकता है, पर इसके लंदन में होने के चांसेस सबसे ज्यादा हैं।
अगर तुम्हारा अंदाजा गलत निकला, ये देश कभी माफ नहीं करेगा।
इस बार मातम इंडिया नहीं, कोई और मनाएगा।
Yeah, so I haven't seen Commando 1 and 2.
That's totally fine.
I feel like I have a good idea of what happened in Commando 1 and 2 based solely off like one dialogue in the trailer for Commando 3 where he was like, Kashmir mein kisi ko dhoya and then Afghanistan mein kisi ko dhoya and now is baat London mein isko dhoenge, and I was like, acha.
Is it a movie about a dhobi? I'm very confused.
He is India ka dhobi, हम सबका commando.
मतलब like धोने की बहुत बात हो रही है यहाँ पे.
He does have the man bun and he does have his chest bared a lot, so there might be something about his past as a dhobi somewhere.
I will say like I did appreciate that the women were also kicking ass. Mm-hmm. They looked exactly the same to me, so I don't know if this is just one woman doing like both roles because I couldn't tell them apart. I'm very sorry. But yeah, like it seems to be like, you know, war ka chota bhai, you know, like kambal.
War ka garib bhai. See, war is the bhais from Kaf Parade, and this is like the bhais from Dhobi Ghat. Basically, that's what it is.
What did you think, Sujoy?
Yeah, it was like what you expect from a Vidyut Jamal movie at this point. It is exactly that, what it is. I don't know how good everybody else is going to be in this movie, but Vidyut is going to kick a lot of ass. And yeah, I will be watching it at the cinema.
Yeah, obviously I'm a huge fan of Vidyut Jamal. I think he should have the career that Tiger Shroff has, but nepotism. There is some...
Wait, I just love that Asim is like, obviously I'm a big fan of Vidyut Jamal.
I was just thinking, I've never heard this sentence before.
Sorry, go on, Asim.
And I do appreciate that they are doing some continuity because like one of the actresses is, I don't know if you pronounce her name Adha Sharma or Adha Sharma.
I know Adha Sharma.
Is it Adha?
She's from this horror movie I once saw. It was very good.
Was it 1920? Is that the one you...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I like how Pitu disses me for my Vidyut Jamal thing and then she makes these statements. I think it, our yin and yang stays in like balance that way.
I think so too.
Any credit I lose, Pitu loses 5 minutes after. दोनों कद्दा खोद दे, you know. Okay, so Adha Sharma is in the second one and she's also in the third one. So they are creating like a cinematic universe around Vidyut Jamal. So there might be some elephants in the climax too or something like that. So could be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I do feel that the final shot of what he's doing, that flick backwards, I do think Katrina Kaif has done it better in Tiger Zinda Hai. So I'm just saying, if you need to beat Tiger, you need to be better than Katrina Vidyut. So just saying, Okay. I think we're done. Let's move on. Are we talking about... I don't know if I want to talk about Saho and all that.
No.
It's on Prime in 4 UHD. Pitu, do you have any interest in watching Saho? Have you even heard of this movie?
No, is Saho the one that has Neel Nitin Mukesh in it?
It does, yes.
No, I am basically a big Instagram fan of his, so I like all his pictures and I comment on his father and his daughter because that's all he ever posts about. But his actual pictures, I don't have any interest in. Does that make me a bad fan?
Yeah. I actually, funnily enough, there were a few like Faridun interviews like that on my timeline, and he was like very like, I don't get the chances I deserve, I do, and that kind of thing. He was like very like railing against Bollywood and the chances he doesn't get. So,
but I agree with that. Yeah, he's so good looking. He acts pretty well. I mean, if you've seen Johnny Gaddar, he acts pretty well. I mean, I don't understand why he hasn't made it.
I think the year Johnny Gaddar came, right, and he was nominated for the best debut actor or whatever, and Ranbir won for Savarya. And that was
the movie in which he goes into a bar and requests milk.
Yeah. So that says it all pretty much.
Yeah. No, I think the gossip was that his dad is like super interfering and like try to run his career, and like that didn't work out well for him.
Interesting.
I think he basically pulled a Vivek Oberoi where he thought he was a bigger star than he was. I think that's what happened to him more than anything. And then
and also the movie choices that he made, like and that kind of tanked.
Yeah, because there was this one he did with Bipasha Basu. I don't know if you guys watched that movie.
No,
it was quite good and it flopped. I think Pitu, you would appreciate it because it's about this. I think he has like a photo camera and it can take photos of the future or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
That kind of does sound like my cup of tea. I know, so maybe I should check it out.
You should check it out. I don't know. I'll try to Google the name while we are talking. But I think that was kind of a...
Dekhe Zara.
Yeah, that's... It even had that song where Bipasha is a DJ and she's like fully on DJing with one hand on her headphone. You know that song?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, he sang that song even, didn't he?
He's always singing on his Instagram, so I wouldn't put it past him. He was literally, there was one video of him where Asha Bhosle is like a good friend of the family and she'd come to their house and he was singing at her feet and it was terrible and besur and she was pretending it was very good. I was like, if I was Asha Bhosle, I would go home and take a very long nap.
I think in all of Bollywood, we are the only ones discussing Neil Nitin Mukesh's career.
I was just sitting here thinking, like, when did Asim become like an expert on Neil Nitin Mukesh? Like, he's like pulling fact after fact out of his pocket. Yeah. I'm like, ye ho kya raha hai?
Yeah. Do you know his rap name, by the way?
What?
It's NNM.
Nice.
Nice one. Oh, no. I call him Aitihasik Neil Bhai.
Shall we move on to Tum Mere Ho?
Tum Mere.
जब से देखा तुमको यारा धड़कन बोली दिल पुकारा
I want to like preface this with a few things first, like, right? Like, I didn't know about this movie. This got like thopo on me. Like, I didn't, I felt I was forced to watch this, like Pitu was. Yeah. And, what I also realized is until like half of the movie, I was waiting for that Suresh Vadkar song, Tum Mere Ho, you know that one? And then I realized it's not in this movie. So the main reason I kind of wanted to watch the movie wasn't even in there.
That Tum Mere Ho song was pictured on Chandrachud Singh, just so you know.
I like YouTubed it because I was like, wow, this is not even just regular Chandrachud, it's Rocky Chandrachud. He's like doing like backpack running and there's like...
Exactly.
What's Angela something?
Angela
Zaveri, she's in there and it's like very like, you know... Well, I don't know what it's called where like men are like so kind of whining and crying that it forces women to be with them.
It's called toxic masculinity.
Yeah. So this is that song. Like he's like, Tum Mere Ho, and I'll keep running here with like a filled backpack and following you until you fall in love. And I'm sure in the movie she falls in love with him. So clearly it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you just reminded me of Sunil Shetty in Dhadkan. Hey Bhagwan.
Yeah, but he didn't get her at the end, huh?
No, because Akshay Kumar swooped in, na?
Okay. So the other thing also I have to say is, I think these snake charming things, I don't understand. So you guys will have to explain this to me a few times. And also, I don't want to offend people because I think there's a line between religion and culture and folklore that's kind of like dangling in the middle here, right? Because when I kind of suggested that it's kind of ridiculous that this genre was so big back in the 90s, I think a few people got a bit offended, and I don't want to do that because I just want to say, you know, my co-hosts are Indian, they are Hindu, and they are incredible in every way. They have taught me so much about their culture and religion. I love them and admire them so much. And as you can see, we have fun together. Happy Karwa Chauth to everyone.
Happy Nag Panchami, everyone.
Yeah. I was just sitting here thinking, who are these pranis who are like offended by like somebody saying that Nag movies are trash?
Yeah.
They could be Ichhadhari Nagins. Amrita, be careful. They might come and dasofy you.
But seriously though, like, where are this Banjara Sapera community who like made it so big in the Bollywood industry? Like, how did they get so much representation throughout the 80s and the 90s through Jitendra and these movies? Like,
I was waiting for Jitendra to show up. I thought he was going to be in this, like, because like the movie starts, like, I don't know about your print, but this movie has no disclaimer about no animals being harmed, because I think at least 300 snakes died in this movie, right? They have to, like, and the first shot is this, you know, this Thakur, and he's like in a tree. Like, that's the first shot of the movie. And then it's about, what's it called? Nagmani?
Yeah.
And there's no further mention of the Nagmani after that. So can you guys explain to the non-Desi people what is a Nagmani? Because the movie doesn't do that.
So this is actually a very good... Okay, so that's a very good point, Asim, because I have never been able to figure out what it exactly is. So, Pitu Mata, what is a Nagmani?
I have read many articles about this because you guys do not know, but when I was a tween, my favorite genre of films was snake movies. And I was obsessed with Nagin, Nagina. And my cousin Tupu and I, we had a dance we used to do on Main Teri Dushman Tu Mera, Main Nagin Tu Sapera. And we would take turns being Amrish Puri, and the other one would keep like stinging the other one, and that's so fun. It was wonderful childhood.
I also used to dance to that song.
It's a very danceable song.
It is an amazing song.
Like, growing up in the Northeast, I did not have a single snake charmer. I have never seen a snake charmer, right? So the whole, the bean is a mystical instrument for me, like, you know, and so we used to like hold up pencils and act up like Amrish Puri. Oh dear.
So based on my research, the Nagmani is basically this, like, so it's basically a jewel, and whoever possesses the Nagmani, and by whoever I mean snakes, whoever possesses the Nagmani has the ability to shapeshift into human form. And also the Nagmani can give you, it can kind of like unlock a lot of treasure. So it's kind of like a video game in real life. So if you were to steal a Nagmani from a shapeshifted snake, then you would also, those magical powers might possibly transfer to you also, and or you might get a lot of wealth. So
So what I understood, like, this is what the version I had heard, is that a Nagmani only is in the throat of an Ichhadhari Nag. Yikes. Which is like a cobra that's been 100 years, if I'm not mistaken. And then the thing appears, which is like a diamond, right? And it gives you superpowers. So that's what the Uncle Thakur is looking for. He was just randomly like waiting in a tree. And then he drops something and it kills the snake, which was actually like the mechanics of this movie don't make sense to me. I don't know if they're supposed to.
Wait, but where are you and Pitu doing all this Nagmani related research? Like, that's what I want to know. I feel like there is more to the story. Like, you and Pitu are like going out in the middle of the night to look for like 100-year-old cobra. Like,
our browser history is identical.
Just that, like, you are doing offline research, reading like really old scrolls made out of barks, and reading old myth about Nagmanis and the curse of the Ichhadari Nagin.
Yeah. It's those scrolls you read, and in the background you hear, like, Mere Surya Vanshi ko le aao, Mera Surya Vanshi. It's those scrolls we have. So it's interesting because I think a lot of people wouldn't understand that, and we need to be conscious of our non-Indian audiences that in Ichhadari Nag, which I do not know the English translation to what Ichhadari means. Does anybody? Shape-shifting? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but that's essentially what it means. But Ichhadari does not etymologically, like, that's not the meaning, because Ichha is desire and Dhari is to be able to, like, take on any form you want. So it technically means whatever form you desire. That's the etymological meaning, the literal translation. But essentially it means a shape-shifting Nag.
Yeah, and it's like a powerful cobra becomes that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a mythical kind of being, and then it shifts into Kalpana Iyer, mostly. But what I find
so, who is the worst Ichhadhari Nagin on, like, the face of the planet? And that includes, like, Manisha Koirala and Arman Kohli. Like, what's the name of that film?
Jani Man, right?
Jani Dushman.
Jani Dushman, right?
Yeah.
I thought she was like a good snake. I thought she was like, this is how a vengeful snake would look like, except for the clothes she's wearing. It is an interesting choice you can be any person and you decide to be Kalpana Iyer, though. That is interesting for me. But I do like the mechanics of turning into a human and back to a snake, because it feels like you can either stand up in one place as a human or you can dance as a human, but anything else you need to turn back into a snake. So if I need to go from one room to the other room, I have to turn back into a snake. But it's not bad because it's kind of an instant thing that happens. You don't have that awkward phase where you're half snake, half human, right? Like Malika Shrawat had in his...
Well, there's a TV show in India called Nagin, and it stars Mouni Roy, and it's very popular. It's like it's been going on for several seasons, and I do not watch the show because, as you know, I'm an intellectual. However, I do watch their promos, and their promos are like batshit crazy. And in all of their promos, they love to have these tight shots of Mouni Roy's eyes, where they're like starting to change color, and slowly they start showing her form, like, morphing into snake. So there are many screenshots on my phone and all, where it's basically like her in half human form, half snake form. So if you're interested in the mechanics, you might want to look into that TV show, Asim.
Yeah, definitely.
Not saying I watch it.
The sudden transitions in this from human to snake and vice versa are actually, restricted because of technology in the 90s and Tahir Hussain not having enough funds to invest in special effects. But it turns out well because there are no, aging, special effects that we need to worry about, because it instantly transforms into snake or a Kalpana Iyer.
Also, it's a snake movie. Everybody gets it. Like, Asim is the only one who's like thinking about it. Everybody else is like, yeah, all right, snakes.
Yeah, I just want to say Michael Jackson's Thriller came out in 1982, which was 9 years ago. So they could have done like the mid-transformation thing if they wanted to. But I do like also, like, sometimes when she's like flying as a snake, she turns into a snake. But when she's trying to bite Aamir's ankle, she's trying to do it as a human too, and she's like Juhi Chawla. So it is kind of slightly confusing what she can do and what she can do. I was also surprised that she turned into Juhi Chawla. Because again, if you can turn into Juhi Chawla, why do you turn into Kalpana Iyer?
That is the most valid question that you will hear on this podcast.
And also, I want to say two positive things, because a lot of people were already hating that we were doing this movie, and they said we were picking this movie to make fun of it. And I was thinking, what other choice do we have? But I want to say, kudos to Aamir to handling on these snakes. Like, I would be out of the window. Like, I'm not touching any snakes. But he's like, seems to be quite comfortable with them. So I was like, yeah, that's something.
On the first day, chuke dekhiye.
And the last day is choose.
Yeah, choose.
That's how dating in India goes.
We went there.
We went there.
I was about to say my anaconda don't. My anaconda don't.
We have too many jokes. We need to structure this slightly.
Sorry.
I do like that this is the movie that Tahir Hussain wrote for his son. Mera bachcha ubharta sitara hai. Like, I will make this movie with him.
Yeah.
बनेगा सपेरा बड़ा होके पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा बड़ा होके सपेरा बनेगा.
Yeah. But I don't understand this logic that this was his second or third movie. Like, how is this a good choice? Like, why did Aamir pick this movie? And his dad was on board, and they had Majru Sultanpuri wrote the lyrics. How does?
Well, another question is, why did Juhi Chawla do the film?
No, she didn't have probably choice. I think at that time, I don't know, she seemed to be in a kind of a Stockholm syndrome relationship with Aamir. She hated him, but there was no other choice for her. I feel I don't know, but she did a few of them, and then she stopped and never wanted to come back again.
Yeah.
And I think when we were even talking about Qayamat Se Qayamat Tak, she was not very happy with, you could infer from her interviews that Aamir got a bit too much of a pull in the movie and the marketing. And I don't know, in Tum Mere Ho, Aamir seems like a very passive character, to be honest. He doesn't matter that much. He doesn't do much. He's just kind of there. He's just playing his flute everywhere. And that's it. He doesn't do much.
I just want everyone to notice in the scenes where Aamir is shirtless, where do his pants begin? Because everyone keeps giving me a hard time when I say that Aamir didn't discover how to wear pants until 2002 or something. But look at where his pants are. And you tell me I'm wrong. You can't.
And also the thing is, they go so high that they don't cover his ankles anymore. That's the funny part.
I was just why?
And for a snake,
maybe he's a big Asterix and Obelix fan, guys. Maybe he just wants to wear it like Obelix, over his chest.
I think that's where all the whole Banjara Sapera community get their fashion inspiration from, is Asterix and Obelix and the Gaul community.
Right.
Because I just think if you're a sapera, ankles are kind of like the danger zone for a snake, right? Do not bear you're teasing them at that moment. You're being a tease, Aamir.
But Aamir is wearing very fashionable boots throughout the movie.
I also liked his jacket, his orange jacket with the black snake embroidered on it. I woke up Ajit from his deep sleep to make him look at it. I was like, look at this jacket, you should get it too.
Ajit is burning up voodoo dolls of the Khandaan podcast.
So
he didn't share my enthusiasm for the fashion. I was very disappointed.
So, I mean, this whole movie is 2 hours of dick innuendos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. and
it's hard
God,
what was that Rajzuchi lechery thing going on?
Oh, we have to talk about, right?
It was horrible.
Right. So these saperas have this festival, which is basically sexual assault into a happy fun time kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So they have to kidnap a woman and then go into the hut with her.
Halla gulla.
Hulla.
Yeah.
Hulla.
I would go with scientific research.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, while I was watching it, it reminded me of all those books and novels I've read that talk about the pagan religions in the West. And if you read about Beltane, which was the fertility festival in spring, that's exactly how Beltane was. Where they would burn things in the fields, and then people would choose their partners and go off into these open fields or whatever and come back, and that was your mate for the year or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, they are maybe getting inspiration from Beltane.
Yeah. It's the sexual dynamics in this village is very, very weird, I have to say. But it also kind of brings back to the point that I make a lot of times, is that small villages and life there really sucks. Because Juhi Chawla got excited for a toy boat in a water bowl. Like, boat jacket. Like, it's like, wow, this is the only thing you guys have, and you're like Thakurs and you're quite rich and well off, but you have to get entertained by you know, melas and like jalebis and stuff like that. So that was kind of sad to me.
Hey, I live in New York and I get excited by jalebis. Okay, don't knock jalebis.
I would not dare. But you're not a Thakrayan if I.
This is true. I'm a working stiff.
Yeah. Well, for us it's fine. We can get excited for us. We're plebs,
okay.
You know. Yeah. And there's like a lot of shitty belly dancing too, and then I think it also this movie gave a lot of hope to, like, you know, snake charmers probably, you know, like Aamir is snake charming, and like a woman like Juhi Chawla would just like immediately, you know, fall in love and want to touch your snake, you know. So
touch your snake.
Yeah. This is where this podcast is gonna go. There's gonna be a lot of these ones.
Everything is a "that's what she said" joke here in this movie.
Oh God. But Juhi is amazing though, right? Like I have nothing bad to say about Juhi Chawla in this movie. Anybody like you agree with that? Or?
Like, everybody is like, yes.
Yeah, okay. I was not like, this is again like, you know, Dabangg 3 all over again. This is not like, I'm like, so the polar opposite of you guys that you went silent.
But my God, like the way, so this movie came out in what, 1990,
I believe.
Yeah, 1990, right?
Yeah.
And the story is about this girl who gets married by proxy to some kid she's never met when she was like so tiny. And then they sent her off to be a widow. Like, that's fucked up, man.
No, and then remember they want to get her remarried also.
Yeah, later on, yeah.
That was a subplot. I mean, that was like a plot point I was not expecting.
Because
my question is like, where is it happening? This movie, like, where in India is this happening?
In a village, in a generic village.
When is it happening?
Oh, when could be a good question. I don't like. It seems like modern times because they have a Aiva tape recorder.
Oh yeah, they had tape recorder. Yeah, they had that.
So they do actively place it in the modern era. So, but that's the only, if that scene wasn't in there, I would not have, then it could be a valid point. Maybe this is in 1884, something like that.
Maybe Aamir's family just have like this very weird idea of what happens in like small towns. Because between QSQT and this film, you're just like, what do you think happens in a small town? You know?
Yeah, like they're so detached from the rest of India, and so they think like, bachpan mein shaadi hota rahega, vidwa ho gayi to kya hua hai, and all the sanskar and pratishtha and anusashan.
Because if this movie was just like a fantasy snake charming Nagina type movie, it would be fine. But then it becomes kind of this social, political kind of gender role thing kind of movie. And then it's like totally loses the plot, and it also just doesn't advance because the reveal is so clear from the start. We clearly know that Aamir is the son that they lost, and she's actually married to Aamir. So, you know.
Did we know that? That came as a surprise to me, Asim.
Yeah, I mean, kitna kichaoge, you know, like it's crazy. Like, you know, like that I don't understand. Like, my understanding of why they made this movie, how they made this movie, the people involved in this movie, that part I don't understand. But I did hear a few people say that they like the songs of this movie.
I mean, the title song is catchy, but that's about it. It's not like a particularly good song, but it is an earworm of a song. I mean, I went to work because I was watching this movie on my lunchtime in my phone, and I went back to work after my lunchtime was over, and I was like humming Tum Mere Ho until I caught like my coworker looking at me. So
this version of Tum Mere Ho or the Chandrachud Singh version?
No, this one. The Chandrachud one I wasn't even thinking about.
Okay. Well, you will be humming it after this podcast though.
Yeah.
Watching through this movie, like the one thing that really annoyed me is the constant the bean theme. It's so annoying.
Is a bean supposed to be soothing? Like, because like Juhi Chawla is really like jamming to it, and she's like, I want to keep listening to this again and again. I was like, wow, really? Like,
I think the whole purpose of the bean is to hypnotize a snake, and it's supposed to resonate with their frequency, but it just feels like a very cheap keyboard synth sound.
Yeah, they didn't even get a real bean, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And there's a lot of bean, and like it's played at action scenes, it's played at romantic scenes, it's played at sex scenes. It's always the bean, and like like a few times I was like, you could use like a saxophone for this, but no, they stay with the bean to the point that it even drowns the dialogue. That like Aamir Khan is saying sweet nothings to Juhi Chawla just before their bedding night. And just the bean is playing. Like they were like fully committed to the bean in this movie.
Tum Mere Ho, feel the bean.
Feel the bean.
Mr. Bean.
Talking about songs and bean and like sweet nothings and all like the weird sex stuff. So Aamir and Juhi do the deed, right?
In the forest, right?
Yeah.
They bang in the forest, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Once, so we've clarified that. What's
there
next?
was a bonfire.
Yeah.
And there was a washing line, remember? Yes.
That's what confused me later as well. Because I was just like, wait, you did it.
Yeah. I did.
But Amrita, people are allowed to do it more than once.
I mean, stop it. That is not a sanskar, Pitu.
I
think you have me confused with Amrita Rao.
Oh God. Anyway, so I also thought that was weird, and I did feel bad for Juhi because it gave me those flashbacks of that. You know that Cineblitz or Stardust cover she has with Govinda where they're wearing and like Juhi is really like worried in that shot that something might pop out, because it looks like a very flimsy like Ram Teri Ganga Meli type situation that she's in, and she does not trust Aamir at all. So I felt bad for Juhi for that forest banging scene that they had.
So one of the inconsequential things that I was thinking about is the whole Aamir's character and his dosti with the Nagraj. That came to nothing, really. I thought that Nagraj was going to be another Ichhadhari Nag, and he would turn into like Jitendra.
Jitendra, that's what I thought too. He would turn into Jitendra, like friendly appearance Jitendra. That kind of thing.
Sheshnag released the same year after Tum Mere Ho.
My God, really?
Yeah.
And did Nagraj die at the end? Did Kalpana Iyer kill Nagraj?
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was no even a moment of sadness for poor Nagraj.
No, nothing. Sorry, Pitu, you were saying something.
Oh, I was saying that one thought that really haunted me even after the movie was over was, think about it this way, okay? Aamir Khan is like this village boy person who lives in this little tribal community, and he catches snakes and takes them to the Zeher center or whatever the hell. But think about how much confidence he has. I mean, he has game, okay? Because when he sees this beautiful Juhi Chawla for the first time, she's a complete babe, and he's making eyes at her, and then she's also making eyes at him, and she's like, मुझे तो पता नहीं आप लोग सांप कैसे पकड़ते हैं, मैं तो देख के डर जाती हूँ. And he's like, you want to come to the mountaintop tomorrow and I will show you how I catch snakes? And she's like, sure. And he's like, okay. Dude, if someone tried to ask me out on a date, and if Ajit tried to ask me out on our first date and he was like, come to the mountaintop, I will catch snakes for you. You want to come? I would be like, shut up, and I would throw him out of there.
Yeah.
But imagine the confidence.
Yeah. And they're at the mountaintop and Aamir's like, that's not the snake I was talking about.
I mean, that's what happens when you come from a society where sexual assault is flirtation.
I do also feel that they're not very discreet in that jungle, or that jungle is like the center of all the roads in that village, because they get caught every minute. Like the Munimji catches them, the other girlfriend ex that wants him catches them, Auntie Pakhrat catches them, like everybody just catches them when they're like saying goodbye. And it seems to be also the same jungle. They say that she's moved to another city, but they've recreated the same village in that other city, and they also have the same jungle in that same city. So
and the same mountaintop where the auntie is spying on them.
What I also found interesting is there's 3 kids, right? There's Aamir, there's Shusti, how do I pronounce his name?
Rajzuchi.
Yeah, him. And then the third actress, the girl that's in love with the Aamir, but then settles for Raj at the end. Like, ye bhi chalega. But I didn't understand that that Raj and the girl weren't brothers and sisters. So this Sapera mister has just 3 random kids that are just kind of hanging around him, and they all call him Papa. And he's not returning any kids. He's just keeping them. And he's like putting them through this Sapera montage. Within 4 minutes, they become super Saperas.
Wait, but like Aamir isn't just a Sapera. He's also a Tantric.
Oh yeah.
True. We can't forget that.
Yeah. And
That
also he's like a entertainment for weddings. So like the Sapera community provides a lot of benefits to, society
and
as a whole.
And also like provide poison for serum research.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Khurrana. Oh my God. How could I forget Dr. Khurrana? Dhanne mein bahut purana. They didn't even dub his voice. Clearly, that's not his voice. Because that mister that has that body structure cannot have the voice that Dr. Khurrana has. It's like complete, like go back to those scenes. It doesn't gel well at all.
Oh, I can trust you for quoting Dr. Khurrana.
Asim's favorite bit in the whole movie.
I jumped with joy, man. I heard it was Prem Khurrana. Nahin, Dr. Khurrana. इसको डंडे मारेंगे, इसको बीन मारेंगे. चल. We talked a little bit about this whole child marriage. Surprise! Child marriage. It's really the surprise nobody wants, right? Like when you discover.
Also, like when Aamir finds out and like, she's like trying to save his feelings so she doesn't explain that she's a widow. So he's like, धोखेबाज, तुमने पहले क्यों नहीं बताया? And then like slaps her and then
मुझे बढ़ावा क्यों दिया? He said, मुझे बढ़ावा क्यों दिया?
And she says, मैंने तुम्हारी बीन सुन के पसंद भी कर ली तो तुमको क्या लगा?
Like the whole thing is like a pun, like everything is an innuendo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Amir's like, stop being a snake tease, yaar.
Yeah.
And then like right afterwards, he's like singing this song, like, like, oh, bewafa, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you just said that she's a dhokebaz and he never wants to see her face again. And like now he's just like, I'm the party entertainment and the entertainment is that I'll just whine about this girl.
So I have a thing about this song I thought I had, right? So this is those classical unsubtle diss songs that Bollywood has where at a party somebody is singing and only 3 people know who the song is about and all the rest of the guests just have to stand there with one glass in their hand, right? So this song is about Bewafa and he's crying and all that. Wouldn't the party guests feel that he's in love with the bride and she's getting married to somebody else and he's singing that song? Isn't he creating tension in like, Saheli's wedding for the rest of her life?
That is actually an excellent point.
Yeah, marriage mein tension dal raha hai. Sapera.
But also, who calls a Sapera to their wedding reception?
It's Prem Khurrana, Dr. Khurrana.
Can you imagine like going to somebody's wedding reception and you're like, and now for the featured entertainment, a snake.
I think they are limited with entertainment choices in a small village, or that's what Tahir Hussain believes.
They're like entertainment के लिए जंगल में जाएंगे, जंगल में जो मिलेगा वो लेके आएंगे, जंगल में सिर्फ सपेरे हैं.
Oh God. And I also like that, when they're like, when she's like going home to the in-laws, like all her saheliya are around and like, dil chota mat kar, hum milne aayenge. I was like, jhooti saheli, koi nahi milne aayega. All a bunch of liars.
That's because all the Sahelis are going to the mountain to meet their own sapedas.
Oh God. She did help out. That she I do like the main Saheli.
Yeah.
She kind of went in Bahu outfit to meet Aamir again. And I like that contrast between single Saheli and Bahu Saheli. Because she was fully looking like Reema Lagu at that time with the full sari.
She was Baahubali.
She was Baahubali actually. And she kind of clears up things for him, for Aamir. And because I think he understood the Bahu part, but he didn't understand the Vidwa part. So,
right.
And then he kind of readjusted his expectations. So then he went he Ranja and he went after her in a way. This is also the plot of Preeti Jinghania and Mohabbatein, by the way.
Oh yeah, and it's Jhangiani.
Jhangiani. Okay.
Say it again. Say it again.
Jhangiani. Jinghaniani. Doesn't matter. She doesn't have a career anymore anyway. I can pronounce it however I want.
You can always tell when Asim is trying to pull a fast one, because he'll just suddenly go the emphasis will always be on the first syllable. He'll just go young, and then he'll just sort of peter out towards the end.
The last time we discussed Preeti Jinghania, I said she's married in real life to Parveen Dabbas, and Amrita said, "Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense because those two fit together."
I don't know who Parveen Dabbas is. Who's that?
Monsoon Wedding.
The
Chiranji Lal from Khosla Ka Ghosla.
Okay. I'll have to, I still don't know who that is.
Asim does not watch these little movies. He only watches the big movies.
He only goes to Royal Albert Hall. It's too far for us.
And Bhai Ki Eid movie.
Yeah.
Bhai Ki Eid movie.
I need money shots.
And Vidyut Jambal movies. Let's not forget what a Vidyut Jambal fan he is.
Obviously he's going to watch Commando.
Obviously I'm a huge fan. I do find it interesting that everybody's quite accepting of what's going on, especially Juhi Chawla. She's just going with it, and she's now going to be a beva in their household. And also the in-laws have no shame, and they're yeah, hamare Raju ki aakhri nishani hi to hai. I was what is going on, man? Do you feel there was a moment in this movie where, so she comes into the house of the in-laws, and you have the auntie Pakhrat, and then her son, Ronak. And didn't he look like a rapist? Didn't he look like he was going to make a move on Juhi?
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
And then it never happened.
Yeah. But it didn't, right?
Nagaraj would come into the picture and save her.
Yeah. I think there was kind of a plot point because they were playing Shatranj, and he was Rani Bachao, and he was making an offhanded joke about Rani Bachana meaning Juhi is the Rani and tum bacha rahe ho and that kind of thing. And there was something going there, but I think they kind of cut that out, which I'm thankful for. Oh, so then the pretty much big reveal happens, right? I also like the snake community, the Sapera community. At the start of the movie, he makes Aamir take this very long oath about being a Sapera and never to use this dark arc against people and all that. Did you remember that? And it was a very intense kind of oath that these Saperas have to take. They take things very, very seriously, it seems like.
But I also thought there would be some sort of payoff for that, down the road, he would be tempted to do something for Juhi, but there's nothing.
Nothing.
There was the one fight sequence, right, when the Thakur send one of the tantrics to fight Aamir, and he's fighting Baba Kalunath and ends up choking him, and all the blood on his face and all that. I think that's
Baba
the only.
Kalunath.
Yeah.
Was that his actual name, or is Sujoy just saying any name?
I'm just saying any name. I don't know what his name is.
But he's been a lot of Ramsey horror movies, right? Yeah. I actually so they have this psychic battle between each other, right? Mm-hmm. And funnily, I just watched X-Men Dark Phoenix, and it's on the same level, the both of the fights. So again, I want to give slight kudos to Tum Mere Ho, that the acting is on par with whatever Michael Fassbender and all that are doing in Dark Phoenix.
Choose.
Oh, Asim.
I love that Aamir Khan. I mean, I have to say, like, I love his branding game. This is a guy who has essentially convinced the entire world that he's the only intellectual in Bollywood. He's the most cerebral, brilliant person out there. Or, uske pearls of wisdom wo jhadta rehta hai har kisi interview mein. But these are the kind of films he's done. He's done Tum Mere Ho. He's seen Daulat Ke Jang, which actually is like is a hidden pleasure of mine. I actually like that movie a lot. It's like a very garibon ka Indiana Jones movie. So he's done all these like very questionable films, and he goes around going like, yeah, I'm very choosy, and a project has to really inspire me and all. And I'm like, yaar, apni filmography dekh pehle.
And there was another one somebody sent to us, right? Isi Ka Naam Zindagi. That was also a really bad one, which I have not seen yet. I don't know, Pitu, if that's also one of your favorites.
No, I haven't seen Isi Ka Naam Zindagi. That's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, apparently it's on good YouTube. We got Catherine sent it nicely to us, and which was also funny that this Tum Mere Ho also has a very good, decent print on YouTube. Which we've seen good movies in terrible prints. Even Hum Hai Rahi Pyar Ke, there was no good print of it. But this is like in pristine 480 HD HDPI. It's quite funny. I mean, this movie is weird, man. I don't know what else I can really say about this. I also didn't think we did like a proper review or anything that we just randomly thought about. But because this movie is kind of very random and kind of just a collection of weird scenes and plots that are there and then go nowhere, like the Nagmani, like the the superpowers Aamir has, and then also just the plot device of she being married to somebody and the Beva. Actually, she's married to Aamir, so the whole issue of child marriage, nobody really learns anything. Nobody actually says that it's actually bad to marry these people at a young age, because at the end she was married to Aamir anyway, so sab theek thaak hai. I don't know, Pitu, do you have any kind of wrapping up final thoughts, anything that we missed out on Tum Mere Ho?
I mean, I regret my friendship with Amrita and Sujoy. I was basically bullied into reviewing it because Sujoy, first he flattered me. He's like, oh, people loved you on your last appearance of them. You must come back. You must. I was like, wow, meri itni tareef ki. And then he's like, will you come back? And I was like, absolutely, anything for my friends. And then he drops this fucking bomb on me. He's like, you must watch Tum Mere Ho. And I was like, no, I'm phobic about snakes. I cannot watch this movie. It is a terrible movie. And then it wasn't enough that Sujoy was like blackmailing me. Then Amrita started sending me messages. So I was like, what the hell, man? And then that's when I had my little Krishna Sudama moment.
I just want everyone to know, Pitu is one giant jhuti, because there she is, spending her childhood dancing to, Main Teri Dushman. And all of a sudden she's like, oh, I'm phobic about snakes. What nonsense.
Pitu, have you seen this movie before, by the way?
Oh yeah, I've seen it 3-4 times.
बड़ी सुदामा बनती फिरती है.
I've seen it many times in India. They used to play this a lot on Zee Cinema, and I used to watch it every time it was being played. Wow. Who am I to look away from Tum Mere Ho?
So I'm basically the only one that had never seen this.
That's because you're an intellectual. And you're a posh banda who goes to Royal Albert Hall.
But also a Vidyut Jammwal fan, obviously.
I think they should combine the two interests and show Vidyut Jammwal movies at the Royal Albert Hall. I think that would make me really, really happy.
Yeah.
Amrita, final words on Tum Mere Ho?
I mean, this is basically the kind of movie that you watch with your head switched off. I feel like Asim tried to understand the whys and wherefores, and that's where he went wrong. You shouldn't do that. But it's a monster movie, so you just watch it. And then the only thing that really pissed me off, even more than all the the weird sexual assault stuff and everything, was the ending where Aamir and Juhi just go back home with their terrible parents who were trying to kill them.
That's another thing, yeah.
I'm just like, why would you go back to those people? They're like telling like, Juhi, like, tum paida hote hi, mar kyun nahi gayi?
Yeah.
And like, his dad is like sending like tantrics to kill him and paralyze him. And I'm just like, why would you go back to these people just because like some lady came up and was like, oh, mera beta, main to teri maa hu. And then it was like, acha, theek hai, like, we'll come back with you. I'm like, no, stay in the forest with all the snakes. The snakes are your friends.
Yeah, I think she says Mamta ki bhi kuch कीमत होती है and all that, and that's how she gets him back in,
That's emotional blackmail.
Yeah. And just imagine, man, like, you figure out that your dad is not your dad, and then it's like Sudhir Pandey is your dad. That's like...
What I want to know is what happens next. Like, okay, now they have left the Sapera community, or rather Aamir has left it and gone back into the bosom of his parents or whatever. But now what? Now he has to change his chal dhal, he has to change his kapde.
Yeah.
Maybe he has to go get a job as an accountant in a firm and has a 9-to-5 job. Like, how is all that going to work?
Yeah. No, they're Thakurs, right? So they probably have some family business that he can get into. But imagine that all of his decision making is based on, saperapan,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How is that going to work in import-export? Like, how do you apply that knowledge?
Payment nahi diya, uske upar black magic karenge.
How is Mehta Textiles going to work now?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll use that khopdi he had, that skull he had, that for black magic, he'll use that as like a paperweight.
Yeah.
Imagine being his secretary, you go to his office and there's like a bone and a skull.
Who should be his secretary? Deepshikha from Koyala. That's why she went to secretarial school, remember?
Maybe it should be Kalpana Iyer dressed as Deepshika.
Right.
So she still keeps on revenging on her, but in a corporate way. Oh no, she died at the end. Yeah.
She died because उसने खून चूसा.
Yeah. Choose.
नहीं, खून चूसने की वजह से वो नहीं मरी. She basically landed on the Lakshman Rekha and she burnt.
Wait, there was a Lakshman Rekha?
Yeah.
With his blood. Remember the circle with his blood? And
it was Aamir's blood?
Yeah.
That was a lot of blood for a 5'2" admi to lead. How is he still alive?
It's tantric blood.
Wow, how is it that this is my 4th time watching Tum Mere Ho and I completely missed this point?
I want everyone to just understand that we are now delirious. The 4 of us don't even know what we are saying at this point.
Aamir fans can at this point come at me, bro.
Yeah. I mean, we should have said this at the start. Aamir fans should probably not listen to this episode. This is not for you. I do find that also the scene where they reveal, like, again, this is one of those plot points that they don't really do, like, it just goes anywhere. But it's like, when you lose a child, he has to have like a mark somewhere. Ke mark kidhar hai? Like, how does how do they recognize their child? He needs to at least have like, half a locket, or he needs to, sing a song that his ma used to sing. How do you otherwise, you can't wait for some Ichhadari Nag to turn into Kalpana Iyer and then tell you that this is your son, right? Mark your children, burn your children, do something, if they get, if they come back, you can say, ye abhi mara nahi hai.
I don't think you should write a book on child psychology, Asim. You definitely do not have a vocation as Dr. Spock.
Dr. Babe Khurrana. Okay. Sujoy, man, final words?
काटेगी क्या?
Sujoy has been saving that up for the whole podcast.
That's my final word.
Sujoy, you have to make a Tinder profile. Please make a Tinder profile and write "Kategi kya."
And if there's somebody that like recognizes what that is, then you have to marry her.
Yeah.
Like, no questions asked.
And the way you have to propose to her is by saying "choose."
Take her to take her to a jewelry shop and show her like a couple of engagement rings and then say "choose." And then that would be like,
No, I know diamonds for Sujoy. Sujoy will buy a Nagmani.
Oh, bichara. Sujoy is never gonna get married now.
And even if he is, he won't invite us to his wedding.
Definitely. But any marriage proposals, please send to youpodcasting@gmail.com. Pitu, where can people find you? Where is your blog dropping? When can we watch more of your kapowing?
So I try to upload every weekend, and by the time that people hear this episode of Khandaan, my second vlog should be up. It's on Instagram at Kapow with Pitu, and I will also be uploading to YouTube pretty soon with the same name, Kapow with Pitu, and that's where they can watch it and write comments and also give me ideas on what my next Kapow vlog should be about.
But what is your next one? Can you lift the veil? Can you give us a teaser on what the topic of the next one will be?
Yes, the next one is about my love for Badshah's Kulfi Faluda, which is in Crawford Market, Mumbai, and also has to do with sari shopping anecdotes.
Amazing.
As one does. These two things are very connected.
Yeah. It's the vlog is very local but very global.
Yes.
It's global.
And there is no bean in my blog. Yet.
Amrita, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at AmritaIQ.
Sujoy?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at 9e3k.
Yeah. Guys, this was really, really fun. Next episode, we're going to be doing a poll on Salman Khan's collaborations with David Dhawan. So we're going to be doing BV number 1, Partner, Judwa, and they've done so many movies. We're going to pick the ones that we can find and are accessible on streaming, because we've done too many terrible prints on YouTube, and honestly we can't take it anymore. So we'll just put the poll out very quickly and then vote for the one you want, and we'll talk about that one. We were just kind of missing Salman, mostly me, so we want to talk about that. Please don't let this episode be the basis for your reviews and ratings on iTunes. हमने बहुत मुश्किल से number 1 position हासिल करी है. Please don't make us tumble down there. Don't send an Aamir army to, vote us down. Keep us at number 1. It will make me happy. Drop us an email with comments at youpodcasting@gmail.com. A few people were asking me if they can send us a voice note, which they can totally do. Keep it around 30 seconds a minute and let us know where you're speaking from and your name. We'll add it, or we'll talk about it at least on the show. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook. And guys, thanks for listening. And Pitu, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Great.
Thank you, Pitu.
Khandaan podcast और एक्टिंग